for another Q&A session, your resident road safety expert at Mobility Engineering. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for sending us your questions. As I always say, if you have any questions, please fire them through. We'd love to get your questions. And don't forget to remember that subscribe pillow. Hit that subscribe button that looks a little bit like this down there somewhere. We'd love to get you on board as one of our subscribers. As we've said before, we're putting out more videos and more information. And we want to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and we'd love your support on that. So thanks very much. All right, so let's get into today's question. Today's question comes through from an OT once again, named Nick. He has two clients who have and the reason why we're out here is because it's in regards to a vehicle that he's inquiring about, which is a Volkswagen multivan. Two clients that have a Volkswagen multivan, one needs to enter from the side and one needs to enter from the rear. And we can show you a little bit about how the entry can work with that respect soon. But the main question he's got is they're going to be driving from their wheelchair, or they want to be driving from their wheelchair, so they're going to come in through the side or through the back and bring their wheelchair right up to here and start driving directly from the wheelchair. Now, the question has been asked, what do I need to know about headroom? I've heard that you do need to cut the floor on these vehicles because there's not enough headroom. Now, I will quickly remind you guys of the headroom situation and the rules around headroom, and then I'll show you guys some videos around the side, some entry points around the back and the side as well. And yeah, basically you can see how they work. This has got an adapted seat in here, and so it's a little bit more raised, and this seat that I'm sitting in is similar to sitting in a wheelchair position. Now, as you can see in this seat here, based on the rules that I showed in the video before, which I'll put a link down in the notes below, you need to have around about a hand span of headroom above you, and I can quite easily fit this hand above me with a couple of centimeters on either side. So that means if I was in a chair of this kind of height, I wouldn't actually need to cut the floor. All I'd need to do is install hand controls, something like this, and the wheelchair restraining systems, the docking systems, and then I can start driving and away I go. We've done a few conversions like that before, and our dealers have as well. It's quite straightforward. But what it comes down to is measuring the person in their wheelchair, measuring their height and measuring the internal height of the vehicle and seeing if that's going to work. The hand span is roughly about 10-12 centimeters, so if you're measuring the height of the person from the ground on their wheelchair and you've got 10 to 12 centimeters above there, you probably don't really need to cut the floor and go to that expense. If you do need to cut vehicles, that's like what we need to do, and there's no problem with that. However, we do try and tend to recommend not cutting vehicles wherever you can, because it is a major structural modification and can have long-term effects on the vehicle, and significantly reduces the lifespan of any vehicle when you start cutting the structure of it. So that's why we try not to recommend that. And when I say significantly reduces the lifespan, it will last for probably about 10 years still, if done properly, but you're probably not going to get that much more out of that vehicle because that's just how it works in the industry. Some work better than others, but that's just generally the rule of thumb. So that's how that particular system works. Now, if you do need to cut the floor because you don't have the right height, and again, I'll put a link below to our dealers. This is more of a unique job, so there's only about 3 companies that we know of that can do it, and they are Freedom Motors in Sydney, Auto Mobility in Melbourne, and also Capital Motors in Melbourne as well. So those are the 3 companies that we're of that do them. They're all 3 of them work with us as our dealers, and it's a very specialist job that they can do. So that should be it for that video. I'll quickly bring you around the back and the side of this vehicle. So this is a typical rear entry. So this is what they were talking about on the rear entry. It would be a lifter that is mounted internally to the rear, and it would just drop down like so. And this is an auto lift aluminium lifter. So you'd want an aluminium lifter for a vehicle like this because it's a light vehicle, and this is a super light lifter. It's about half the weight of your normal big commercial lifters. So it's more suitable for a private vehicle. You want to have less wear and tear on your vehicle, as I said, and also less fuel consumption and better stability with a lighter chair. So this would be a typical rear access lifter, and I'll just bring it up, and then I'll bring you around the side, and I'll also show you the side access lifter as well. And these auto lift ones are nice and simple. Nice and easy to use, very sturdy, very solid. Great little units. And if you come around here to the side here, so this is a side lifter, again from Autolift, an F6 mounted underneath the vehicle, a low profile lifter that will come out from the side, and it will also lift up and lift you into the vehicle. So Again, just a few disclaimers. Sorry about the poor lighting and also oh, there we go. So this would, for example, just come down to the bottom there, to the ground. So yeah, and there's some background noise, but we're in the workshop showing you these devices, so that's what that is. So you would drive onto this, and then you would basically go up like so, and get into the vehicle and transfer, and, well, sorry, not transfer, just drive straight in and use your wheelchair to drive. So that's about it. So thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks for sending us in your questions. As I said before, please fire up and send us as many questions as you can. We'd love to answer them. And also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button below. We'd love to see you on board, and see you next time.